Well, Hallmark fans, as all of you know, this has been awesome for me. Last week I got to talk to Aaron Cahill, and now I get to talk to Taylor Cole. So, as my co host Andrew, who's not with me today, told me, she's like, you gotta hold it together. And I'm gonna do my absolute best because, like I said, you are one of my absolute favorites of favorites. So, hello,
Oh,
Taylor.
thank you so much. Now I could say the same about you.
Well,
You said so many lovely things, Eric. You are my favorite now.
yes, I trust we're your favorite Hallmark mystery podcast, considering we're the only Hallmark
There it
mystery
is.
podcast. So
That's
makes it
easy.
easy.
Stamped. Done.
All right. Well, we're going to start really with the in-depth, the tough stuff, the really important things.
Mhm.
You're a golf fanatic. So if you had your choice, would you be a professional golfer or would you stay with this acting gig?
You know what? I love the fact that I'm right in between being good and not great
Well,
because
you can,
then
in this fantasy world, you're really good.
I'm really good.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, that changes things because I really do enjoy just being like above average golfer because you have so much more fun. There's no pressure. Everybody else who's a little bit better is more stressed out than me, and that's not doesn't seem fun. You know what? I've been watching the Netflix documentary Full Swing, and it does seem high pressure. It does seem like a lot. It feels like it would suck out some of the fun of golf for me. Um, you know, getting to see the world and play golf and be outside. If I was like the best of the best, then sure. I would go with that, but that's a different lifetime. So, but I also just doing Hallmark movies, it just brings so many people together, and that is a true passion of my entire world. So, I think the perks of doing Hallmark movies outweigh the perks of golfing because in my world as it is now, I get to do both. So that's kind of
That's a good
fun.
point. Very good point. So, what is your favorite course that you've played?
Favorite course ever. I just played Pebble Beach, so I'm going to have to say that is pretty hard to beat. I played TPC Sawgrass, which is they call the fifth major, and I got closest to the hole on 17, which is like a little island green, and it's a big deal. Even the pros, it's a big deal if you get it on. And I got closest to the pin because I was the only person who got it on the green that day. So yeah, that was beautiful, but Pebble was incredible. A friend of ours gave us a caddy as a gift, and he I think he's going pro, and he's just incredible. Just to be next to somebody so great at golf, and for them to know every shot and everything on the course, and for most of it to be coastal views is just beautiful. I remember, you're playing with two other people that you don't know. It was me and my husband's. It was our 5th-year wedding anniversary gift to each other, and we did the trifecta. So we played Spanish Bay, Spyglass, and Pebble Beach. So we had the most fun. But you're playing with two other people, and we had the best time with them. But you're handing off your camera like, oh, could you take a video of this spot? And my husband's like, sorry, I'll do that. Like, it's just so stunning. Like every single hole is just like, wow, we get to be here. And golf takes a long time, 5 hours. So you're just like enamored by this beauty over and over and over. You just can't believe it. So I'd say Pebble Beach for sure.
You could do much, much, much worse there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, over the last couple days, you've been sharing some pretty personal posts on Instagram for you. Um, was there something like about your success or happiness that you believed that you just don't believe anymore?
I think every step of this wild journey has made me believe more somehow, believe in myself more, believe in my relationship more, believe in trusting the plan that's meant for me more. It breaks you down, I'm not gonna lie, because infertility is heartbreaking in so many different facets that no one will understand unless they go through it. But getting back to who I am really was the through line for my whole learning experience. It was ups and downs, and then just finally trusting and believing that what I've done and who I am and everything that I have to give is enough. It might not have the outcome that I want, and hopefully it does one day, but if it doesn't, I've still got a beautiful life, and it's surrounded with love, and I get to give love through Hallmark movies and fans, and also just sharing that struggle has really helped me, come closer to my fans. Like, I also lost one of my best friends last year, and while shooting A Reason for the Season, and just sharing that on social media and being able to tell people, it really helped connect with the fans, and everybody told me their stories, and it was just full circle cathartic and just heartwarming and beautiful all around, like full circle moment. So I don't know, the more the more you dig, the better it gets. So I think it was all meant for me, all of it, the
Very
good, the bad,
healthy
the ugly.
outlook. Very healthy outlook. So, when you look at your acting, though, was there anything in your acting career that taught you about yourself?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I had to ask myself a lot of hard questions whenever I started acting, because I kind of fell into it. So it wasn't a passion of mine. And that's when it got a little bit hairy for me, wondering if I really wanted to do this, if I was taking the place of somebody who had a passion for it. And then I found Hallmark, and then I realized, oh yeah, this is what I want. I want to bring people together. I want to spread love. I want to give a meaningful message. I want to, impact this world in a beautiful and selfless, giving, loving way, and Hallmark provides that. So I got lucky and found that, because not everybody does. But yeah, it was touch and go there for a while. I was like, are you sure I should be doing this? And my dad was one of the biggest cheerleaders. He was like, just try, just keep going, just keep trying, keep. I also would get fired from any other job, so I think that it was just meant to be. I'd be a terrible waitress. I'd sit down and eat French fries with everyone.
That's quite amazing because you have a pretty extensive career before Hallmark too, right? So you were
Oh yeah,
not like it was like a role or two. You were in a lot of stuff, which
yeah.
is going to bring us to our little fun background quiz to see how well do you know your own career.
Oh boy, I don't remember what I had for breakfast, so good luck.
Well, we will see, especially if it's saying you're like kind of sort of, I'm not sure this is my thing, but
Yeah.
we're going to go back to when you were on Two and a Half Men
Oh yeah.
and you had a dog as your character. Do you remember what your dog's name was?
Oh no, I was screaming it out though as I was
You were
on the fake beach. Larry, that's my guess. That's a
Douglas.
terrible dog name. What was it?
Douglas,
Douglas!
which
Yes!
isn't a much better dog name, so.
I love it when people name dogs human names, because Douglas peed on the floor sounds hysterical.
Well, you were in Supernatural
Yes.
and you unfortunately died. But spoiler alert for anyone who has not seen it in the last whatever 15 years.
Yes.
But there were two other Hallmark actors who were in that same clip show episode as you. Do you remember who they were?
Wow. Well, you know what? They were all shot separately, so I definitely don't know. But do you know the story about why all those people died in that episode?
Yes, I just watched it this morning so I could ask you about it. Well, I don't
Oh,
know what happens. It's the only
no, but
episode of Supernatural I've ever seen.
oh, okay. Well, no, all the writers basically they got sick of people asking over and over about different storylines and different characters. So they just wrote an episode where they killed off everybody's favorite. that episode was just like, I think like 10 people died, but it was all like fan favorites. And they were just sick of hearing fans be like, well, what about Sarah Blake? What about Sarah Blake? They were just like, bring them all on. We're just going to kill them all. It's just kind of genius.
It is genius. Well, it was Cindy Busby and Stephanie Bennett.
Oh, nice. Okay. I love
So
that.
you weren't ever like, you just shot your thing, so you had no idea they were
Oh,
interesting.
yeah.
The beauty, the magic of, movie making.
I know.
There you go. You were in a movie with Cindy Busby way back when, or an episode.
An episode.
All right. Well, your career quiz is not going too well, so it's a good
Not
thing that you're
great.
an actor.
Not
So,
great.
all right. In your very first Hallmark movie, which do you remember what that one? You
Yes,
know
that was Appetite for Love. I got
Right.
that one.
What was your character? What was your character's name?
Mina.
All right. Yep.
But that was her nickname, right? And then she was, yeah. Anyway.
Mina Jones. Yeah.
Mina Jones. Got it.
Okay. Going into staying in the Hallmark world, now we're going to Ruby Herring because we love Ruby Herring. What channel was Ruby Herring on?
Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. What do you mean?
No. Her job, Ruby Herring, not Taylor Cole.
I still have the a mug from that, and the handle cracked off, and I've glued it back on. I think 57.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. So this actually correlates. You don't remember the stuff before Hallmark, but your Hallmark, when you said you got your passion, all of a sudden you remember it all.
Gosh, you're so right. That is so funny.
50% on your quiz, but we'll give you bone.
I have a fun fact for you, which is my movie Double Scoop that comes out August 23rd, maybe. I co-starred in CSI Miami with Ryan McPartlin, and I actually killed him in an episode. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen CSI Miami, I was the last killer on CSI Miami, and I knew that I knew Ryan, but I could not place what it was from. And I was like, what did we do together? I know we worked together. And then he pulled that. Oh no, the director pulled it up, or a producer, somebody pulled it up and sent it over to me. And I was dying. I broke a bottle over Ryan McPartlin's head, and I did not remember. That is crazy. And I remember everything that we did on Double Scoop. So, so funny. You're right. I blocked out everything that I wasn't passionate about. And now I'm seeing clearly.
You have an interesting career relationship with Sean Christensen, because in your very first, Christian, sorry.
Sean Christian. Yeah.
Well, in your very first thing, he was in Summerlin, he was your boyfriend, but then in Ruby Herring, he wasn't your boyfriend?
No.
IMDb's lying? I was about to say, that's the crazy thing, because then he's your dad and whatever. That was going to be crazy trivia.
Yeah, no, actually, I don't know if you know this crazy trivia.
Well, yes.
Sean Christian is my dad, so maybe IMDb mentioned something about the fact that the writers when I was on Summerlin had no idea that he was my stepdad, because we have different last names. We don't look anything alike. He's very young looking, and I was 18 and I didn't really look 18. I just looked older than 18, which was so funny. Everything I would audition for, they were like, nah, she doesn't look 18. I was like, I am 18. What do you mean she doesn't look I am 18. Anyway, so the writers were going to write us up this love story, because basically I had been all around. I'd done every storyline that there possibly was on the show, but Aaron Spelling wanted to keep me on the show, which was very sweet. But I wasn't a family member on that show, so there was nothing left for me. So they just kept pairing me up with different love interest, and the next love interest was Sean, and we had to tell them, no, we are related. We are not doing any love interest whatsoever. But yeah, and then he played my stepdad, and they actually replaced him because he looked so young, which is true. Everybody's like, what? We don't believe that that's her dad. And I was like, he is my dad. The same with the 17. I was like, I am 17. I am 18. And that is my dad, my stepdad. But, anyway, that was very funny.
What's crazy about that is when you look at all these movies with teenagers, they're being played by like people who are 28 years old,
Yeah,
old who look young, and you had the exact opposite
opposite. It was
thing.
wild.
That's crazy. Can you play this kid's mom? So,
Yeah,
uh,
totally.
well, many people may not read that or realize this, but your Hallmark career is like way more prolific than people probably think when they first there. You've got 20 movies on your belt, about to have 21. That's like rarefied air for Hallmark for you, right? Or for just in general for an actor. Not many have hit that plateau. So, of all of those, what is your favorite one that you've been in?
Oh wow. There's so many really, and you know what they're all tied to, like the reason why some of them are my favorite are tied to different reasons, and like an emotional, Appetite for Love was my favorite because it was my first. Um my second one
Is it the Prince one?
yeah, my summer print was My Summer Prince, and that second one, it just felt like I knew that I wanted to do this forever. You know what I mean? Like that click, that moment, and going, oh my gosh, if they hire over and over, this is exactly what I want to do. This is a world I could fully like throw myself into and be so happy and feel like I belong, feel like I'm not taking somebody's spot, feel like I'm passionate and I'm excited and just joyful to do these. So and then well, a favorite Christmas movie was Christmas and Homestead with Michael Rady. And also, I love doing them with people who've never done them before or just starting out in the Hallmark world. Like Tyler Hynes, I did Falling for You, and it was only his second movie, and he just finished the other one. He's like, what is this world? And same with Michael Rady. I was just like, just wait, just buckle up, and you cannot imagine the love that the fans give and how much you receive from them and the energy. It's just so overwhelming and so beautiful and so loving. And so, did I answer your question? But not really.
Of course, no, you avoided it. What's your favorite one? And you gave like pretty much the whole list, all 20 of them. And
That's
if I
funny.
asked you next month, I'm sure Double Scoop would have been in there too.
That's right.
What you sort of brought up, I was going to ask you in a second, but yeah, you were with Tyler Hynes before he was Tyler Hynes, right?
Yeah, right before he
And
was.
he was kind of, I don't want to, like nerdy-ish at that point. He wasn't brooding, whatever, ride motorcycle Tyler that we all know today. So
Well,
when
he
you,
was. He was
well,
a
on
skateboarder
screen,
and a right on screen. You're
right?
right.
Yeah,
Totally.
he
Yeah.
was a very clean cut and everything, and
Yeah.
all that. So when you did that movie with him, were you like, you were going to shut down basically Hallmark, blow it up when you get there? Did you get any sense of that from him, or when it
Well,
came to, you're like, wow,
honestly, he brought something. He gave those movies, all of his movies, so much more. He really wants to push the envelope and just make it that much better. You know what I mean? There's a way to play things safe, and there's a way to push the envelope, and I think that's what fans are enjoying. And that's really what our whole discussion about, coming to the Hallmark world. I was like, do it, embrace it, enjoy it, do what you want. And he's like, oh, I just want to, if we could just make them a little bit more, and that's what he, and I was like, do it, enjoy it. And there's no, you're not gonna, you have nothing to lose, essentially. You know what I mean? Just go for it and have fun with it. And he has taken that to some other level that I didn't even know, which I'm so grateful for, because he honestly he's pushing the boundaries and opening up our world and making it just appealing for so many more different eyes to watch. So it's really smart what he's doing.
so of all your 20 character, well, I guess you haven't been 20 characters because you've done two of them have had three
True.
repeats, right? But
Yeah.
so we'll go for the 14,
Okay.
right? I don't think my math adds up. So of that, what character of those do you think most resembles you that you've played of your Hallmark ones?
Well, Well,
I hope it's not your CSI Miami, who you're actually secretly, stone cold killer out there. But we'll go with the
exactly.
rom-com types.
Yeah, you know what? I'm trying to think of the different names because most Hallmark movies, you get a script and it's a
Right.
certain name, and then they change the name about 3 or 4 more times. So I shot one in Hawaii, and it was about just reuse, renew,
Oh, the
recycle, sort of
recently, right? Aloha,
aloha,
aloha something. Right.
aloha, aloha. Oh gosh, what is it? Anyway, yeah, that one. I think I'm so connected to nature. I live in Tahoe. I have dedicated my life to, composting and recycling and reusing, and I encourage other people to do it. Whenever I give a gift in a in a bag, I make sure I don't write on it, and I tell them that's part of the gift, and I want them to reuse that bag. And even if I get it next month, then that works for me. But I despise waste. I food food waste especially. But all of her passions were very much closely aligned to mine. But um, I think, what was it? Christmas in Homestead. She was an actress, so I was like her, and in that way, and her just. You know what I think is beautiful? Just the discovery from each character. They have this, very focused mindset, and then they just discover something that is missing, the passion. There's a passion that's missing in them, and that to watch them discover it and become just a better, more full version of themselves is so beautiful. It's like my favorite part of a Hallmark movie is watching the transformation happen, and how it happens, and who it happens with, and why it happens. But yeah, I don't
It
know. There's so
it
many.
it was Aloha Heart,
That's
which
right, Aloha Heart.
I'm
Yeah,
sure we could have got to because it's a Hallmark movie. It's not that tough.
yeah, you're
We had
right.
the Aloha. That was the hard
Just
part,
add a
right?
heart, of course. Duh.
All right. Well, as I mentioned, you have been in the sequels, so you know most of the rom coms don't get them, and you were in the one winter weekend, which got them for the rom coms. Obviously, Ruby Herring because mysteries, hopefully, usually get them and stuff. But with the rom com, like I say, you did get that. What was it like? Because usually those, like I say, those stories wrap up and you're done. Boom, we had our kiss, over, and you got to play that character and actually have character arc with it. So, how was that experience different than all your other Hallmark, movies that you're in?
You know what's wild is when we shot One Winter Weekend, we didn't know that there was going to be a sequel. It just did really well, and people liked it, and they did another one, and then we didn't know that there would be another one after that, and then there was. And then we got really excited about having another one after that, because now you want to see Sean and Megan get married, and you want to see Kara and her guy have a baby, and once you get in there, you can just like, the sky's the limit. Just keep going and going. But it was fun to return to a character. My hair would say otherwise because I had to dye it back and forth. I was also shooting the originals at the time, so I had white hair, and then I had black hair, and then I had to dye it. And same for Ruby Herring. So when you're on those 3 ones, you have to go back to the color that you were. So I was blonde, and I think they kind of overlapped a little bit because I was blonde. I went back to blonde for One Winter Wedding, and I was going to Ruby, so I would dye my hair red, and then I'd have to go back for another movie, and it was just back and forth. My hair was falling out left and right, but it was very fun to play. It was fun to feel like you're returning home. You know the character so well, you don't even have to think. You are her, and it feels like a warm hug because you're like, yay, I'm back. I know her.
Now, as far as knowing her, because you live in Tahoe and all that, and you're outdoorsy and all that, can you snowboard?
Yes, I do snowboard. I was a skier growing up, but I tore my ACL in volleyball, so I got afraid to be on two different planks. I wanted my knees stuck together in the same board, and I can snowboard. I just wonder if I'm actually having fun while I'm doing it because my husband, he'll take his lunch break and go for a whole hour, and the whole time that I'm up there, I'm like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, please, 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 like freaking out. And I'm like, I'm not sure I like snowboarding because falling hurts so bad. And yeah, I think I went one season where I didn't fall at all, and that was my favorite season. Other than
That's
that, I've fallen on my tailbone, and I think I broke it because it took a year and a half to repair. And
ouch.
then in the first year when I was learning, I kept falling on the same spot over and over and over. And then one fall, it wasn't even, it's the crazy thing is that a snowboard fall doesn't have to be crazy tumbling down. It's like I was being pulled by a skier on a flat, and then I just tipped over. I caught an edge and I tipped over. So it's like nothing traumatic, it's nothing crazy. And it's just the biggest injury ever. I had like a knot on my butt, like a racquetball size on my outside of my hip, and it hurt. I couldn't even sit down for however long that took to recover. It was brutal. So I think that it instilled fear that I haven't been able to shake quite yet. Mm.
All right. Well, we kind of talked about this, before we started recording, but 6 years ago, my birth sister uh, found me. I didn't know I had a birth sister or anything, and lo and behold, I did 23andMe and accidentally left the thing open to be found, and bing, you're found. It's actually a crazy story, which we won't go into. But the good thing was I found the sister, and uh, the first thing I did, we found early in December, and so for a Christmas present that year, I had you do a cameo for her. So when you did the Long Lost Christmas, did you have any idea, like you're making this movie that would just like be so touching to certain collection of people like myself who did go through this journey of like long unknown relatives and all of that?
I mean, I definitely knew that those stories existed, and from the bottom of my heart, hoped that everyone who had that story would watch it because it was so beautiful and was so touching. And I just didn't know how many people would relate to it. But when they do, because you are not the only story that I've heard have that same story and have that connection and love that movie because of that. And it has brought me to tears every single time. I'm just like, I could not be more touched. And this is what I'm talking about with the passion. You know what I mean? That when I was a killer on CSI Miami, nobody said you moved me to tears because of your gun skills. No,
Maybe
no.
Dexter Morgan, but that's about it.
Exactly. So I just am in awe of everyone who shares their story with me, and I feel so lucky and so grateful. So it is beautiful. I did not know exactly how it would respond or relate, but it did, and I'm so grateful for that for sure.
So when you do movies like that or Pumpkin Everything that have a little more serious undertone to them than the typical, Hallmark nice appetite for love, right?
Right,
It's
right.
cute, it's fun, but it's
Yeah,
not a, you know, challenging movie, so to speak, emotionally, right?
right.
But then you do bring in some of these other ones like that. From you as an actor and where you're at in your career, do you kind of maybe enjoy that side a little bit more than sort of the fluff one, or is it the balance of the two, or where are you at now?
I mean, I had shot Pumpkin Everything right before I did Long Lost Christmas, and I was struggling with that content just because I signed up to do these movies to make people feel good and make them happy and come together and all these things, and I was just like, I don't want to make people sad. If this is a sad story, I don't want people to be upset, and I don't want it to be too close to home or whatever it is that might turn people off and not bring joy into their life. But I had a very dear friend who actually, it's her 80th birthday today, Donna. She said, people are going through this, and I promise you, they need to hear and relate to this story. And this is important. What you're doing is a gift to them and will help them get through what they're going through. And I never thought about it like that. I just wanted to bring joy to people, but you can bring joy to people through hard times. That's a connection and a bonding and a cathartic experience you can help each other with. And, relating to somebody or seeing somebody go through something that you're having a hard time with is helpful in so many ways. So, I mean, I've taken that one lesson from Pumpkin Everything, and I've continued it on. I mean, from my friend who passed away, I shared that with everyone, and from my infertility journey, I've shared that. I just want, if I'm going through all this pain and I'm learning things along the way, and I have any chance at all to help somebody in whatever they're going through, that sharing is the best possible way. So I do enjoy doing them because it really is impactful and meaningful to so many people, and they come up and they tell you, and that means everything, like you have. But I also really love rom-coms. I love to be goofy. I love to be so silly. I mean, I think Ruby Herring, yeah, I think it was supposed to be probably more like straight down the middle and like a little more serious, like all the other mysteries. But I was like, no, I want to be silly. I wanted to do the I Love Lucy version. So, they always joke on the producers on the movies and mysteries that they don't want that like dun, 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 that music that's like silly. And I'm like, that is what I want. I want that music. I want that silly music. I want to be like awkward and like tiptoeing and get caught and be, just silly, because I feel like that's what makes me laugh. So hopefully it makes somebody else laugh. So Ben and I often joke that we were shooting a rom-com, and then the other half of the movie was like the tone that they wanted. But I think they can be married together. I think that you can have that heart and that depth and have laughs and have silly moments, because we're human and that is who we are, and that's what we do, on a everyday basis. So I think finding that perfect balance of doing both is really fun.
Well, you did bring up Ruby Herring, which now is that officially canceled, or is it just hasn't made one in a while?
No, never officially canceled.
Okay, so we can get more Ruby Herring. Would you be other than obviously the paycheck, but would you be down for, bringing that character back?
I would love to. I loved Ruby Herring. It was so much fun. I also think it was just different than the other series, which the other series are great as well, but I think it had a fun tone, even though it was a dark, there's dark things going on, but I think it was fun, and the storyline just has so much more to explore, especially because Andrea Canning from Dateline, she wrote all those. She is an incredible human. I don't even know how she does it. She has so many beautiful children, the biggest, most beautiful family. She works on Dateline and is writing scripts and just doing it all. She's incredible. She also did South Beach Love, something like that. The one that I shot in Miami about a chef.
Right.
Yeah, so she wrote that one too. She just writes so many, but the way her mind works, and how in the mystery world, which they're not easy to write, because you have to, you know, take
Right.
everybody on this journey, and she's really, really talented. So that was always fun working with her. And then she'd make cameos, and that was fun. So I think also, just because it was so grounded in reality, she was a journalist. She was an investigative reporter, and then she was solving crimes. That makes sense.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that was pretty cool.
It's one of the mysteries that doesn't, get all the recognition I think it deserves because it is one of my favorites. I love it. And as you mentioned, the thing about it that's unique is Ruby Herring makes sense to be sleuthing because that's
Yeah,
her career, right? As
right.
opposed to not, we all love the baker who goes and does it, but the baker shouldn't really be out there solving crimes. Whereas Ruby Herring really did have the credentials, so to speak, to
Yeah,
go out and do that.
totally. Yeah.
So, so tell us a little bit about Steven and what's something we don't know about him because I think to date that is his best role he's been in. He killed it
Killed
in
it.
there. He was
So,
well,
so
that may be
good.
the wrong verb to use. He was awesome in a
You're
murder
right.
mystery. Probably shouldn't say
Yeah.
that, but he
No,
was awesome in that
he
one.
was
So tell us
so
a little
good.
something most fans don't know about him.
He was, I don't know if it was Olympic or just nationally ranked or winning. He was very, very skilled at kite surfing.
All
Kite
right,
surfing? I think that's what it is, like where you're on a surfboard and then there's a kite.
right, right.
And I guess they have competitions. I didn't even know this, but he is a stellar athlete and also I think he was in finance before this. So he just broke into the acting world and he's finding his footing and he's like, what are we doing here? And it was just so great. And he's got this earnest, like just I don't even know, just this beautiful way about discovering things that's so fun to watch. He's very, very talented and very, very sweet on multiple levels.
All right. Well, now that we've determined it's not canceled, we can expect one in early 26. So we'll get shooting this fall. I'll put a
Perfect.
couple calls in
Thank
and
you.
you'll have to dye the hair again. So
Yes.
hopefully it's returning to
Yes.
being healthy
Let's
so
get
you
a
can do that
petition
again.
started and we'll be good. Yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, most recently, or currently, you're in Christmas at Sea. Now, have you gone prior to this, like on cruises and all that whole experience? Or,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. I was raised by my dad. My mom and dad were best friends. They were just there's a big, big age gap. But I went on a cruise with my dad, a Disney cruise with my dad when I was like 10 years old. And I was never like fanatical about Disney. I think it was just like the family friendly cruise that he could take me on, so he did. And I remember getting my hair done in braids in Jamaica and like doing all kinds of fun activities, snorkeling, holding a sea slug, and it was so much fun because everything is there. You're just on a floating vessel of fun. It's just and then you get to your destination and you got more fun. It's very efficient, which I love. You're getting all things done, and then just the food options and just everything. I love, love, love cruises. So I remember thinking, oh, that'd be fun to do it with my friends, but nobody really wanted to do it with me. And then I remember seeing Jonathan Bennett doing like a collaboration with a cruise line, and then people started doing cruises with Hallmark, and I was like, wouldn't that be cool if we did? And then it happened. I was like, did I manifest this? This is incredible. But anyway, doing it with all of your friends like that, I couldn't have dreamt that up. It was so perfect. And I had a really tough year, and just getting to come together and see all the people that make me so happy, and even watching them, getting to watch them do panels or do games or host things. I've just felt like a proud mama, like a proud friend. It was just so fun, and getting to connect with the fans. I'm telling you, it was on a next level experience that we do the Christmas cons and all those cons out there, and you get a few seconds with everyone and they're quick, but we don't get to all do it together. And that was really fun because we got to play games together. We got to meet and shake hands with the fans and hear their stories and hear what touched them and what they loved. And it was just a next level connection that was which I'm glad it was documented, because Christmas at Sea, honestly, it felt like everybody's own Hallmark Christmas movie. You had all the elements. You were going through each of them. You're like, I'm living a Hallmark movie. This is so cool. And we were briefed about the outline of the stories that were going to be highlighted, but we didn't know. We didn't know how it was going to go, how it was going to end up. We didn't know, who they were, or we'd never talked to them before. My conversation with Carrie was so beautiful, and she just came up to me and said, I've seen you on social media, talk about your friend. And we just went on and on talking about breast cancer, and doing what you have to do for your loved ones, so that advocating for yourself and taking measures so that you don't have to have hard conversations later. And just a selfless act for your family. And it was so beautiful for her, and we had so many different connections and so many weird coincidences. Like, Carrie was the name of my friend's who passed mom. So Nicole's mom was Carrie. She was from Texas. Carrie was from Texas, and we were on the ocean. It was Nicole's birthday the day that she came up and had a conversation with me, and it was just so magical. It was really, really beautiful. And then there was love stories, and there were just family connections and people getting over fears. And I mean, it really had everything that a Hallmark Christmas movie has, but we were floating in the middle of the sea, and it was July, or what, when was it? It felt like July. It felt hot. No, it was November
Yeah,
probably,
I would
but
say I thought it
we
was
were,
last fall.
yeah,
So
exactly. But we were it's airing in July. That's why.
right.
It just felt like, like summer Christmas movie at sea. It was so cool, and I'm so glad they documented it. And I think people will fans will really like it and appreciate it, because I feel like it's our love letters to the fans. It's our thank you. It's our connecting and full circle moment of, we see you and we thank you. And it's just full of magic and love, and I just am so glad that everybody gets to see it.
Well, yeah, you may have answered the question, but maybe not. My next one was just going to be like having to be on essentially all the time and not being able really to do your press. I was going to ask if that was like just became sort of overwhelming for you, but it sounds like you just fed off it.
You feed off of it. And I'm an introvert extrovert, meaning if I don't know you, it takes me a second to like be myself, maybe because I'm a little weird. I could be weird. So for me to fully be myself, it takes a minute. But with Hallmark fans and all the love and all of our friends that we've made, all the actors, we are just this family. So you immediately, there is no what do I do with my hands moment. You're with your family. You don't think twice about anything you say or do. Everything's fun and everything's joyous, and you're feeding on this energy that you just can't even believe is real. It is so, it's so thick in the air, this love and passion and greatness. Did you go?
I did not.
Oh my gosh,
I
are you going this
it,
year?
no, you like I say, you make it seem appealing, but then the thought of being on a big ship with thousands of other people just also to me seems like, hell. So it's like a weird balance, right? But it does, I do have the moments where I'm like, oh, this seems like it'd be awesome for, like you say, those connections and things. But then I think about I've done river cruises, which I love, but those are
Oh yeah,
small, right?
right.
But from the whole notion of the cruise just kind of overwhelms me.
It's a lot. It is a lot. Yeah, I mean, there were moments when you did get like 10 minutes to yourself, and you're just like, what just happened? You just kind of like out of body, what just happened? And then the next thing happens. You're like, okay, I don't think I have the energy to do it. But then you're out there and you feel all the energy. It's wild. You just feel so much love and you just have no option but to give it back. And it's rewarding on so many levels. It's really, really special.
Well, just to wrap up, as we said when we started, you're in Double Scoop next month
Yes.
with Ryan, who's also in a mystery that never was officially canceled that we would
Oh,
love to
yes.
see again, because that ended on a cliffhanger too. Whole
Yeah.
other story there. But what can you just tell us about why we should be excited for that movie?
Oh boy. I love the butting heads in this whole movie. Ryan and I are full force butting heads. We've known each other from before, so that creates this instant like history, which creates instant chemistry in the movie, and then also in real life, we knew each other from before. So it was it was fun to get to go toe to toe and sort of do that whole I'm angry with you and you're making my life, miserable and all these things. So I think watching us battle it out is going to be fun for fans for sure.
He also, and this to you, and this is part of the reason why you're on Mount Everest there, just seems like a person who would just be fun to hang with, right?
Oh,
Forget the career, right? He seems like he would just be a fun guy just to go like have a beer with.
absolutely. And we did that. We definitely did that. We went to a speakeasy and my husband was in town and they just get along so well because they're creatives and Ryan does not stop talking. He is, he is, has the best stories. He has an imagination that runs wild and he will talk forever, which is great for me because I'm an introvert. So I just listen and laugh a lot. We laughed a ton. And he's so sweet and so kind and such a good dad and husband. And he's really, really special. Yeah. You would love
Well,
having a beer with him.
I think I'm gonna have to try to get him on the podcast next. We can
Oh,
talk
yeah,
some
you
cut
do.
color murder. So, well, Taylor, thank you very much for taking some time to talk to us, like I say, and then just making my entire week. So, this is awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark Channel.